Welcome back to Recorder on the Wall, where we're covering all of Brian Jakes' bookworks that happen to be read well or not. I'm Pete.
I'm Matthias.
And I'm Katie.
And we are in the last section of the last book of the Castaways of the Flying Dutchman series. In this case, The Voyage of Slaves. So, if you somehow missed our other two episodes, go back and listen to them. We'll wait.
You
All
done?
right, you back?
Great.
You back?
Okay,
Cool.
they're back. But more importantly, folks, as we've mentioned in the other two episodes, minor content warning here. This book does go into the European slave trade, although, as we've said in other episodes, Brian's very good not to lay blame on any particular faith system or, political ideology. So, good on that. I honestly surprised we didn't get, after the first episode got out, I didn't get any... I was kind of wondering if I'd get any because, I'll admit it, folks. I'm not apologizing, but I made my real feelings clear on how we present history. So, in that first episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we'll get our first one-star review. That'll be an accomplishment.
Okay.
Yay, we have trolls now.
Please don't encourage them. So our third section, have we even, I don't think we've been naming the sections the whole time.
Oh, whoops, I forgot what this one
Yeah.
was.
So if you missed it, section 1 was Lord of the Barbary Coast, so, Al, the jerkface. The second section was A Dangerous Freedom. And this third section is Estrani Wolves. Wait, wolves and something that Brian wrote?
Ergen Nagru's back.
I was just about to say that. Get out of my head.
So, when we left off at the last story, Ben and Ned had transferred to another ship, the Blue Turtle, who was kind of taking on water. That's a problem if you're in the Mediterranean.
A little bit.
It was only supposed to be a 3-hour tour.
Hey, those are my jokes to make. Fine.
I'm just going to make the one. I could not resist.
No, I appreciate it. So, when we pick up part 3 here, Ben is part of a human chain as they try to bail out the water. So, and they're doing enough to keep afloat, but it's
Barely.
hard work.
Oh, chapter art, before we forget,
yeah.
Please do.
is ship looking very much like it's leaning about 20 degrees to the right. Very ragged-looking sails on the main mast, and looking rather worse for wear.
Dang it, Jack Sparrow. Go back to your own franchise. Go on.
I have to say my favorite, for some random reason, my favorite description of your chapter art so far has been, it's a pigeon. Just the way you said that. It's a pigeon.
So, yes, Ben is eventually dismissed from the bailing crew because he's basically wearing himself out by the captain, and goes in to enter the cabin where they have the cook Nico, still unconscious, and our favorite puppy, Miko.
He's been swaddled.
And apparently Ned did it.
Yep.
Quote, I managed to tie up that villain so tight he couldn't get free.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just did what all kids do and throw a tantrum and was like, well, okay, might as well just go to sleep.
It's like, I can't do anything. I'll do the only thing I can do, sleep.
Yep.
I'll make time pass faster.
Yep. They're like, hey, there's a ship over the horizon. Surprise! It's the Dutchman. No, I'm kidding. It's not. And thankfully, it's not the Sea Djinn either. It is the Callisto, who apparently, we find out in a bit of a sprawling story, while the boat is still taking on water.
Yes, I have to admit I wasn't really paying attention during this part. I was
Yeah,
just like,
basically, Costas was friends with this little rich brat back home whose dad bought his way not only into the Greek Naval Officers Academy, but basically paid for a ship for the Greek Navy to have if his son could captain it.
yes.
I wouldn't call them so much friends as acquaintances that wished to be less acquainted.
Yes.
Yeah, I was sort of reminded of Gingerbeer and Captain Snow a little bit, except for I think Captain Snow and Squire Gingerbeer were closer friends.
Oh, I was thinking more along the lines of Alex and Amy and Wilf Smithers.
Ah.
Mhm.
Oh, Wilf Smithers. I forgot
My
about him.
daddy's going to pay me so I can beat up your daddy. Or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but they basically say there is a third person, Yanni, who's another shipmate on the turtle, and he's just like, oh, he was close as a brother, but now he wants to hang us because we were former smugglers. So, it's kind of put a damper on the friendship. And we may have, also shot at his ship at some point. Things happen. And we also get another asterisk reference to the Angel's Command.
Oh.
Mhm.
We get reference when Ben was aboard a French pirate vessel, the La Petite Marie.
Under the Buccaneer, Raphael Theron.
Yes. Oh, Theron, I miss you.
I miss Theron too.
And Anaconda.
But one of the reasons Alexei wants to kill his now former friends is they kind of embarrassed him in front of his own crew. So.
Well.
Oh, and we have to point out, he's referred to by Costas as Little Alexei because he's short.
Yes.
Oh, and his own crew took up the moniker saying Little Admiral Alexei.
Yes. I don't know if I'm entirely comfortable with men making fun of men for being short, but I guess it's fine.
But yes,
well, I mean, he's not as bad as Red Jack Teal, but
No.
I can imagine a couple of bad days could definitely push him in that direction.
The story continues like, well, the Callisto's coming right for us, and yeah, Alexei kind of wants to kill some of your people, so that's bad.
Kind of.
And so how are we going to outwit this? Hey, do you have a yellow flag? Whatever for? And speaking as people who have been through a pandemic over the last 19 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is pretty brilliant. It's a little triggering in its own right. Like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh no, a plague ship.
Oh. We're told that basically to fool the Callisto, they hide all the people that Alexei wants to murder. Because, that's what official sailors do, apparently. They basically hide them on board, and Ned, Ben, and one other stand on board as, hey, don't come close. We're running up a yellow flag of quarantine because we totally have cholera, but can you spare some water?
And to his credit, they do give them some.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the official Navy would do. It's better that they like, well, we're not coming on board your plague ship, but we'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yep, you've called Naval AAA.
What was that one? OnStar? It was popular for a while.
Yeah.
They hit the OnStar button. Costas to his, I won't say to his debit, not credit, because this was stupid.
Very stupid.
He comes on board basically hot in disguise. He's just like, he literally tries to give Alexei a painting as thanks. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Don't overplay this.
This is like the clown that clowned too far.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
And Ben rightly calls him out and is like, dude, that was dumb. What if he recognized you? You would have killed us all.
Oh, it's fine. I glued pork rinds to my face. No, really.
Really?
That's his disguise.
I mean, it worked, however.
Yes.
However,
Yes, it does.
dot.
It does, and we also get a Miko trying to rip off the pork rinds that are applied to Ned's coat.
Yep, that's again, he does puppies very well.
And we get one for the bounty counter.
Yeah.
Ding.
Surprised how often that comes up. Like Ben just does not let it go.
Oh,
I
Ned
mean,
also is like, go ahead.
it's the perfect name to just troll Ned with. It's just like, you're being a handful. I'm gonna call you Bundy again.
Oh, and Ned also takes offense when they said, "Oh, look at the puppy snoring like a dog." Huh? Snoring like a dog? I wonder if humans can listen to themselves while they're asleep.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys have snorers in your family, but my dad is pretty terrible. Um, and my first dog was also pretty terrible. And one time, my dog was hanging out on the bed with my dad, and I didn't know where she was, so I kind of peeked my head into the room, and I heard this like harmonious snore chorus. I was like, there they are.
A snore chorus. A
Yeah,
snorus.
snorus.
Oh no. I mean, yeah, it does run in my family, and I personally use nasal inserts to keep my nasal passages open, so I don't snore.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if I snore. I really hope I don't, but yeah, I want to avoid that.
Hey, I mean, if I'm sick and my sinuses are all blocked up, I probably do. So I'm not saying that I'm totally innocent. I just was amused by the snore chorus.
Snorris, come on. Right.
Sonorous. I'm sorry, portmanteau.
Yes. But yes, and then we go back to our troop who are still below decks. They do a lot of just sitting around in this book.
Well,
Yes.
unfortunately, I feel bad for them. I mean,
Oh,
if you think about it, in context for any lockdowns that we've gone through in the past year and a half,
Yes.
yeah.
super relatable.
And of course, we have to check in our bad guys. And Gino points out, "You're still searching for the boy." It's like, "I've always succeeded. Failure was never in my nature." So, yes, we'll totally check out those barely inhabited islands, because totally that's where he'll be. Like, dude, I normally say this to Vanderdecken, but get a hobby.
And I mean,
Yeah.
not only that, it's like you're depending on a plot contrivance. This is worse than the sea epic in Angel's Command. It's like, oh, we're gonna put it into the Azores. Yeah, sure.
It's one kid.
Right. And a dog.
Yes, one kid and a dog.
Although to be fair, we've seen in the past year and a half as well a lot of people who get very obsessive over things that should be very not obsessive worthy, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, to quote Gargoyles here in the semi-villain Xanatos, revenge is a sucker's game. At least it's gonna be, as we're gonna see.
Yeah.
Chapter 25. What's our art?
It's a pair of rats, ironically enough, considering that they were talking about, oh, it's rats, they gave us cholera. No, this time the picture is actually rats. One of them's up on its haunches, and the other's crouched down on all fours.
Hi,
Well,
Clooney.
I presume Clooney needed a new job, right?
Oh, he wasn't a Portuguese rat. He was a Greek rat. Okay, that makes
Yes.
sense.
Oh. I don't know who the other guy is. Gabool. He's
Gabool.
naval. It's a naval book. Yeah, we're going to go with that.
Or
Okay.
Captain Slip.
Also an option. So the Callisto is towing the Blue Turtle. Basically, they lay him into an inlet beach where there's like, okay, we'll send you your towing fee. Bye. And yeah, and even the Callisto's own crew are like, you're I know you're leaving them on a sparsely populated island to die.
Not a
But
good look, dude.
at
He's
the
like,
same
oh,
time,
they'll die anyway.
they're not going to approach it any closer to a plague ship than they have to.
I feel like I should be inserting like a Shakespeare quote here or something.
Ye plague.
Yep. Aw, and then we'll go back to Amiko, who is still being a trip hazard, apparently. And we get our first song of the section.
Oh yeah.
Because it wouldn't be a Brian Jakes book without songs of some
Several
sort.
Indeed.
songs. Several songs. And I love how Ben's like, "Don't you worry about anything?" Yeah, I got my ship that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, he just is sort of. I don't know if it's even false vibrato because I think he's pretty. Most of the time, he makes pretty wise, well-grounded decisions, except for when he decides to be a ghost man.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now suddenly you said Ghost Man. All I could think of was Jonathan Preston from book 1.
I've got a shotgun. I really do. It's
Oh, I
definitely
was
not
thinking
just
when
a toy.
he did the Mad Professor thing and dragged
Oh yeah.
Alex into the almshouse.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, sidetrack.
No, that's all
Us?
right.
No.
Like we continue on, and it's like he basically is like, Costas Big's plan. He's like, here, I'm gonna hook you up with a smuggler friends of mine, led by Jonah. Yeah,
Yeah. Is it Janish, I believe?
yeah, Janos,
Janos?
Janos. I
I
mean
think
the
it's
two
yeah, I think it's a Y sound, I believe, from the audio.
Janos. Yeah, that's convinced with the conventional Greek two-headed god.
Which I
But
should have asked. I got a haircut yesterday, and the hairdresser I've gone to for like 2 decades, she's from Greece.
Mm-hmm.
I should have asked her. I forgot.
Yeah,
oh well. But
but
it's so funny
yes.
though because I immediately fell into the Jake's trap. I was like, "Oh, this is just gonna be some dude." Like I completely forgot about this.
Shh, spoilers.
I didn't
But
say anything.
yep, Janos Kabar is the leader of the Strati Wolves, basically smugglers. Hmm.
Hmm.
But so Costa's plan is, I'm going to give you, introduce you, give you some gold, and they're going to take you the rest of the way to Piran. Okay. I mean, he does have a ship to rebuild. So,
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, our big bad Al Misrata has met the Callisto. Oh, hi! I am a totally legitimate businessman, right, my bloodthirsty crew?
Let me just stop and ask Big Fat Ugly Bug Face Baby Eating O'Brien.
I approve of your reference, sir.
Yes, I knew you would.
But yes, they basically, yeah, they lie their butts off like that they're just a trader and totally not the big known slave trader in the Mediterranean. And they find out from Alexei, who, I know your dad bought you way into officer school, but you have to have at least by reputation this Mr. Lord of the Barbary Coast.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even suspect him once, as far as we know.
Yep, sort of a bumbling, blundering type of person.
So
Yeah.
basically, Mr. Smithers again.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna keep making that reference as long as it's applicable.
Could be an
No, I
ancestor
approve.
to Mr. Smithers. Sort of, maybe.
But yes. So they basically because Alexei's kind of dumb. He's like, "Oh, that ship. Yes, that ship I took to Dalmatian Islands, and it's totally a plague center. So don't go near it." And here's the thing: Al believes it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of shocked at this. Like he never questions whether that might be false.
I had the
Maybe
exact
it's.
same thought. It's just like, dude, I you know that this kid that you've been chasing all across the Mediterranean Sea is a whole lot more clever than basically everybody you run into. If it relates to him, question it.
Right.
Not only does he not question it, he's just basically like, "Oh, the plague got him. Oh, okay, I'm okay with this."
Yeah, I mean, maybe he doesn't want to get involved in any plague type thing because you can't,
I mean,
plagues don't care who they hit.
that's truly clear, true. That's true. Yeah, I will agree with that.
You can't throw a bunch of gold at it and make it go away. So,
Yep.
especially in the what 1700s.
Yeah. Much less the modern day,
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Gino's like, so okay, the boy died from plague. Okay, so uh oh, and that troop we split apart into the women and men on your orders. Should I, now that we know that the weird kid and dog are dead, can I let the women rejoin? No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. We just want to keep them apart because that'll work for us. It'll be Nice hostage situation.
Mm.
Oh, and particularly that German strongman who could be dangerous. And Gina's just like, well, I'm not afraid of him. And Albisurata, to his credit, is like, yeah, neither was Bomba. And
Yeah.
look what happened to him.
Oh wait, who? I have no idea who you're talking
Uh,
about.
yeah, Mr. B, we hardly knew you. Okay, well,
Yeah.
moving on.
Moment of silence. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, I can't fault Al's logic here. He's just like, well, that crew member who will not be named was worthless, a thief, a coward, and I was going to have to kill him myself sooner or later. So yeah, Otto did the job for me. So and there's no profit in a dead man. Remember that quote for later, because Al himself questions why he shouldn't have killed certain members of the troop later on.
Mm-hmm.
So meanwhile, the ladies of the troop are like, "Hey, can we get out and have some food or water? We want to go back to where our men are." And the dumb guard's like, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. My boss told me to keep you apart, and certainly don't look behind those hay bales to where there's the half door you can get in and see your horse."
Yeah.
That's
Nay, we shall not do that.
Nah. I get it.
so they do that.
They definitely do.
Yeah, they basically move cargo around in their chamber and get into the next one over where they found their mare and she's been putting on weight, so I guess these sailors really like horses.
Yeah. And she also can't exercise a lot though. So
Yeah, there's that too. Aw, and the horse is cute. Yeah. And apparently, Gino, when he comes up to the guard cabin, he's just like, "Where are they?" I don't know. Yeah, Gino beats the guard,
Yeah.
As one
Nice.
does.
Very
Yeah.
nice man.
Yeah, I mean, there's no vermin HR in this world, so.
No.
Although they are definitely vermin by human standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Gino comes over to ladies, he's like, "Yeah, I don't like that you got out of your cabin. You need to go back right now." And Melindy stands out, "Don't you dare harm her. Get back," when he's threatening towards Mama Rizzoli. And Papaya, the mayor, knows to turn back as a
Yep.
command and steps back right down on Gino's foot.
Oh yeah.
And good horsey. And for those
I
of
mean,
you who...
I knew something was afoot.
Boo.
Okay, Matthias, you take point.
So Gino's there just absolutely raging over the fact that his foot is just... It hurts.
I mean, a horse weighs several hundred pounds minimum, if not over 1,000, depending on the breed.
I mean,
So-
there's a reason why anybody who works with horses even a little bit will tell you don't walk behind a horse. If they should kick up, they can easily shatter your rib cage,
Yeah.
snap your neck, something terrible. Those are very, very, very powerful legs. There's a reason engines are measured in horsepower.
Horsepower.
Yep.
Yes. A horse almost kicked my mother in the head when she was a kid. If that had happened, I probably would not exist.
Anyway, so the
On that cheery
women
note.
are just absolutely amused by the fact that he is just very much in pain. He is suffering. And he's like, "So you think it's funny? Well, I'll give you news to wipe smiles off your faces. Your young friends, the boy and his dog, they're dead. Now laugh that one off."
And yeah, the Seraphina at first is devastated, but that they're like, nah. The rest of them are like, "Hey, this kid's weird, and he's been had really insanely good luck. He's not dead." Oh yeah.
actually, it's Serafina who says that, like,
Oh, really?
which is weird because in the like earlier in the book, she's like, "Oh no, they have to be alive," and she's all crying and stuff. And now she's like, "Nope, they're not dead." And everyone else is like, "But what if they are?" She's like, "Nope." Like, oh, you changed your mind without any explanation.
Crushes will do that to a person.
I suppose.
I just wish we'd had more development into the nature of this crush, because it has had little more than just, hey, this is a crush. Really? Yes.
Yes, exactly.
So, chapter 26.
Chapter art. You see a woman with a whip, a very, very, very long whip, as she is like, takes up about a quarter of the width of the page. This whip has a curl in it, a significant curl, and it crosses the length of the entire page.
Cool.
When a problem comes along,
Mm-hmm.
Ben and Ned enter the tavern of the Tipsy Hog, with Costas and Yanni escorting them. And of course, we get more Sass Lab, because Sass Lab is best lab. Because Ben and Ned love to trade barbs back and forth. You were the landlord here. It had been called the Tipsy Dog.
And then the boozy boy.
Yep.
Yes.
And Strick's like, yeah, I would have named it the Boozy Boy. So, but yes. But before Costas is about to pay for the dinner that they've ordered, and before he can, a whip takes that coin out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, friends, meet Janos.
Yes. Love this character. Love the whole concept.
Yeah, we're going to see this character be awesome for the next several chapters. And I, honestly speaking, frankly, I would have rather had a 3-book series about her.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I was brought so much joy. I honestly, to be honest, remembering what I remember about how this book happens, I didn't expect to enjoy much of this book. Honestly, I was wrong. I will completely admit, I still did not like how this book ended. We'll get there. However, this brought me so much joy. Thank you, Jakes.
As I quipped before we started recording, I want 3 books and a movie with her.
Yes.
Yeah, I really do as well. She is 10 pounds of. She is awesome. All kinds of awesome. So, I mean, basically, if Indiana Jones had a female counterpart, be her.
Indiana Jones crossed with Han Solo, if that was
Yes.
at all possible.
She as if anyone else has seen the Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings movie, this is like his sister character, who's like, the boys let me play at the table, I'll build my own empire. But
Yep.
yes, so she leads pretty much an all-female gang, and they're smugglers, and their whole thing is that they have well-greased, and very fast horses to pull wagons and do the runaround along local authorities. And
And
they're
part
awesome.
of their shtick is the fact that, as we'll see later on, because they're all, wives and daughters, they're basically overlooked because the guys are like, oh, those women, they're above suspicion. We're looking for men.
And they also dress like men to throw off the authorities too.
Yeah, which is super cool. And there were definitely women in history that did this. Like they took advantage of the fact that they're going to be underestimated by the authorities. Like the authorities don't expect, especially in these times, women to be doing this type of work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So they're like, all right then.
even in this same era, there were plenty of female pirates that weren't reported on nearly as much by history as some of their male counterparts in the Caribbean and American coasts.
Mm-hmm. The first one that comes to mind is Anne Bonny.
Mm-hmm. I was getting at, yep.
I would have loved to have seen, because this is the last book and we don't get any more, but I would have loved to have seen if there was ever a sequel discovered, a book 4, to have a female pirate.
Yes. So yes, Costa and Janos like, hey, I need to have a job for you. And like, okay, my friend, let's take you downstairs to the private room and we'll discuss this. But she also tells Ben to stop calling her Marm.
Yes. All right, we'll break your ribs. He's like, okay. So I just had a thought of who these who Kostas and Janos remind me of. They sort of remind me of the relationship that Gonf and Queen Garraway had. Sort of like they're both these really loud, exuberant characters, and they have a sort of chummy relationship.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Also, a little bit of Rusa Nojere in there. Just, Rusa's a little bit more mellow.
Yeah.
That's saying something. But basically, Koss is getting his friend Janos to take Benedict on the smuggling train all the way to Purin. And they're totally for it. Like, okay. And Costas, showing just how much of an honorable ex-thief he is, he literally gives Ben a huge pouch of gold to pay for the journey because he knows that Janos won't take any money from him.
Mm-hmm.
Your money is no good here. Don't know if either of you have ever experienced this, but if you know somebody who runs a business, that they get very particular about, like, no, I like you. I will not let you pay for anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was this very sweet old man there was a shop in downtown Lincoln, Nebraska, where I used to live, and it was pretty close to our training center for blind people. And I guess he had like a relative who was blind or something, but he would not charge. He had like a jewelry store, and if we came in and wanted batteries replaced in our Braille watches, he would not let us pay for it.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a super sweet old man.
Nice.
His name was Fred. Hi, Fred.
I used to have a next door neighbor, nice guy, owned a diner, still owns it, like a family style restaurant. And whenever my dad has stopped in years later, he has to be very careful to dodge them seeing before he can get the check. Because the husband and wife are both very likely to basically say, nope, it's on the house.
Yep.
Ben takes the gold without too much fuss. And Costas also says, if you get to the Covenant, tell the Mother Superior that you're my friend. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, and yes, he mentions, Ned is such a fine dog. I hope he won't get lonely without the little puppy. Oh. And Ned, in his thoughts, is like, I resent that remark. Your dog is more friendly or faithful than I am to this wayward youth. And then Miko, at least my Machael won't be chewed to the bone.
Yep.
But we see later that he may have been lying just a little bit. And he's a
lot,
big old
actually.
softie.
Yeah. So yes, and Ben even gets a little teary-eyed. We're parting with good friends. We certainly won't see them before the end of the book in a cavalry rush to help.
Definitely
Probably
not.
not. Seems unlikely.
What are the odds Brian would do that for 3 books? But yes, the next portion they get through. They have a second supper. Yes, what about second breakfast? With 2 portions of cherry pie. Good lord.
Yum.
I don't know how I can move after all of that.
I'm sure there was lots of butter in it and sugar.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the cookbook.
I mean, that makes it taste butter.
It does.
Yep. Oh, and there's Vanderdecken out the window, who still hasn't gotten a hobby.
Are you sure you don't want to join my cruise ship? I upgraded the amenities.
We got Wi-Fi now, even though it won't be invented for hundreds of years.
Oh, come on, kid. So, chapter 27 begins with our bad guys, but also art, I'm sure.
Yes. It is a picture of Otto with the now cleaned up musket, which looks very, very tiny in his hands. It's about the length of his forearm. And he's very, very, very muscular.
So Hagrid holding a rifle.
Let me put it this way. the size of his shoulders look to be about 2/3 the size of his head.
Well,
And his arms just continue at that same size down to his elbow and slowly taper off into his forearms. But he's really big, really strong. I would not want to meet this guy in a dark alley, a light alley, or really any alley, because alleys can be scary.
yeah, well, that's true.
Speaking of the gun, Otto's got it. He's got the blunderbuss. And now is when the Rizzoli troop decides to make their stand and do their brilliant escape plan, and it's over.
It does not work too well.
But yes, Gino is even like, what are you proposing to do with that old rusty fossil? And you love Otto's reaction. He just cocks the hammer.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't come to play around.
Yep. And they're basically, the men of the troop are like, hey, we want to see our girls, and you're going to let us go, or we'll all die here in a mass suicide shots. And Al Misurata, to his credit, is just like, okay. All right, we'll take you to the women. And when they get to the women, of course, do you know, they basically threaten La Lindy with death if they don't surrender the gun.
I'm just sad she didn't have her snake with her at the
Yeah,
time.
where's Maga? Maga, you are, oh, come on. I'm sorry, are you on a coffee break?
I'm trying to picture a snake like curling around a coffee mug and sticking its head in. It's amusing me a lot.
Tongue flicking out, just like,
My
yes,
coffee.
sweet nectar of life. Except I don't drink coffee, so, take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Speaking as someone who does drink coffee, yes. Oh, and yeah, we skipped over at the end of 26. Yes, Ned misses his puppy buddy. Aww.
Yeah.
Those tiny sharp teeth are well missed, apparently.
Yes. I was a little bit jealous because he could see like Ned was whining in his sleep and he knew what he was dreaming about. I was like, I would love to know what my dog dreams about, because sometimes, especially in court, in a very tense moment in the trial, she just goes to town with her dreams, and I'm like, what are you dreaming about?
I imagine it's some comic relief, though, at some
Oh
point.
yeah, I've gotten chuckles from like the judge and both the lawyers, and I'm just like, sorry, not really though.
Back to 27. So yes, they threaten on Lindy, and of course the guys surrender, and yeah. Ami Serata's just like, haha, I win. And the Rizzoli troop, they reunite, and they're like, well, now what do we do? Well, we'll just have to rely on Ben and Ned to save us. Guys, you have no guarantee that they're alive.
Yeah.
You might want to have another plan. I'm just saying.
This was a little bit like kind of the opposite of what the Chapelvale people did. Like they didn't wait on Ben and Ned. They were proactive and working together and stuff.
Yeah. So yes, back with Ben and Ned, Ben offers gold to Janos from the pouch he got, and she's just like, "Good Lord, kid, do you know what that's worth?"
Nope.
Apparently not, because she's just like, "You've just paid for my entire smuggling venture 4 times over."
Yeah, and it kind of shows that she's honest too, because she could have been like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I need more. Give me more. Give me the whole
Give me
thing."
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yes. And Ned gets to howl, and I love this. Several times in the book, actually.
Yes, dogs howling is very amusing to me. We had a beagle, and she used to howl at the tornado siren. It's pretty funny.
But yes, we also get so the women are preparing for the smuggling run, and we also get one of the other women's like Maga gives them a smile. Sit in the back with Katya, my baby. She'll tell you when I need to borrow my pipe. And Ned snickers. Imagine me smoking a pipe. Now I want fan art of Ned in a fez, a robe, and smoking a pipe.
What kind of robe? Like red with gold trim?
Oh, absolutely. So yes, the Istrani wolves apparently have their own battle howl.
Which is really cool in the audiobook, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, Ned sings basically gets to howl along when they do it. It's awesome. And yep, we have our next song. The Istrani wolves get to sing their own song. And it's basically,
really
yeah,
cool.
it's basically, hey, we're an awesome troop. Haha.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
mean, what like roguish gang in any Brian Jakes book does not have a "I'm awesome" song?
Can't think of one, except for maybe Clooney, but they're not
Yeah,
really
Clooney
roguish.
really should have commissioned his own song.
There were no songs in the original Redwall book. They were just poems.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I don't think he would have wanted to have paid royalty fees.
Let's be honest, Clooney would have offered money or whatever that counts for currency in Redwall for a song that commissioned. The songwriter would have made it, and then Clooney would have killed the guy.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
So yes, it's pretty impressive to hear that this troop of the Astani Wolves, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
And their carts are moving very fast. And we get their first run-in with the quote unquote and air quotes here authorities.
Yeah.
Basically, as you'd expect, most nations of the time, much as now, if you're taking goods through towns, states, various nations, you're going to have to pay royalties, taxes, as you go on. And smugglers are usually the type to not want to do that.
Yes.
Of course not.
Cuts to their profit, after all. So, but the ones the Astrani wolves are approaching, they're not even real revenue officers, just volunteers. See, they're only wearing armbands, not uniforms. If they catch any smugglers, they help themselves to the best of the cargo, then they hand the rest over to the revenue captain.
That.
So these aren't even true legitimate authorities here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is where I learned to love Janos even more. She basically leads her group right through the middle of them and uses her whip to send the revenue officers, volunteers, running.
Yep, and she does it very well.
Yes. Yes, she does. And it's hilarious and want to watch it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Including where she whips the bottom of one of them.
Yes, and I like it because I believe that was the mayor, right?
Oh, the mayor. Yes.
She got him right across his bottom, and Ned winces at the sight and says, "Oh, I bet he has his supper standing up for a week or two, mate." Ouch.
I just love Ned's commentary. Ned has such great commentary.
Sass Lab is best lab.
Yes.
Can we get like Sass Lab for literally everything?
Please. And we still haven't used the pipe yet, but yeah.
Oh, but we will.
Oh, we will. So, chapter 28.
Chapter art. We have a crate with rope that was obviously used to tie it closed. That's been cut slack. And there is a long, thin, cylindrical-ish package thing. Looks like it's wrapped in a paper of some sort, sitting on top. Don't know what it is yet. I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine.
Yep, I'm sure it's fine. So, they get away from the villains, and our smugglers are like, we should probably get off the main road. So, because we're, real IRS agents, okay, revenue officers, are waiting in ambush, and they'll, so we're going to take this along the beach. Ooh, night beach ride. That's awesome.
Yeah. I wanted to be on this wagon. Sounded
Yeah.
super fun.
I would like to watch it, but I don't like rocky, bumpy rides, which is why I don't do roller coasters. So one of you can have my seat.
Matthias, I'll compromise with you. Someone needs to make an Oregon Trail version of this.
Ooh. Congratulations, you have died of cholera.
Well,
Hurt play.
I was never able to play that game, but now the Amazon robot has a version of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
audio only. It's pretty fun.
Nice. I actually just, and it's not like my family listens to this podcast, but I bought my parents one of the newer versions of Clue that has Amazon Alexa compatibility.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
You still play the regular game, but a couple of fans complained when they took Mrs. White out of the game a few years ago in favor of a Dr. Orchid. And Hasbro's reasons were I actually agreed with them. They wanted to, especially from a feminist angle, they wanted to show little girls, hey, let's not have a maid, let's have a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I'm all for that. But enough fans complained that they introduced Mrs. White back in as a ghost.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
is the Alexa component where if you ask for help, she may or may not help you.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid reading the Clue chapter books where every chapter was like a different mystery, and at the end,
those were
Mr.
awesome.
Body always died.
And then it turns out in the next book, now he didn't really die, but he'll totally forgive these 6 guests of his who seem to keep murdering him.
Yes. Except for the very last book, I think it was book number 18, where he was actually dead.
Oh,
Well,
no.
had to happen sometime.
But those books were so much fun.
Yeah. Although there was one of them, I remember reading a chapter, and it was entirely impossible, the solution they gave.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm not talking like narrative impossible. No, like by the own rules that they asked you to do was impossible.
How did we get here? Oh, I remember. Okay, we're good. I was like, wait a second. How did we go from wagons to Clue? I remember now.
I don't have a clue.
So yes, our smuggler troop goes along the beach, and funny thing, those IRS agents—that's what they are now—are actually chasing them. They're just doing it quietly, stealthily, not moving at speed to try to sneak up.
I believe
IRS
it's
ninjas.
I believe it's our Labby that sees them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he does. And hey, someone got that pipe?
Oh yeah.
And so, if you're wondering what that chapter art was, well, this is what it is. The Astartes wolves are carrying flashbangs and smoke grenades, and they use the pipe as an ignition source. So, okay.
And they're not deadly. They're just maybe make you lose your hearing for a little bit.
No, I mean, Janos does outright say, was it Janos? Like, oh, they're just rattled around. They'll have a few broken bones, and a few of them might gotten thrown from their horses. And they may never catch those horses, but they're fine. No one's gonna die.
Fine.
And all of them are going to be deaf for a bit.
What?
Huh?
I said some of them might be deaf for a bit.
I can't hear you.
Yes. But Ben Even's reaction's like, what are you doing? You've killed them. It's like, no, he didn't. And this is where Janos just like, dude, yeah, that was non-lethal means. And if they had caught us, you would have been hanged. So, show some
Yes.
gratitude. So they continue on their smuggling journey, and they also eat breakfast because food's important in anything Brian writes.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben does explain why he wants to get to Pirantianos, and she's like, okay, when we get there, I want you to hide out in a hotel a friend of mine owns, and I will go around making inquiries because it's likely that if the CGN beat us to there, they're going to be looking for you. And if you're poking around, so let me handle this.
Which Ben is totally going to do.
He's definitely going to be very obedient.
He does not have trust and control issues when it comes to his friends.
Yes, and
Especially the
his,
girl he's crushing on.
Yes, who he's known for what, a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah. They do get to Paran, and Ben and I are checked into the Inn of the Gray Swan, which has a sass cat we don't get to hear. But this cat does not tolerate Ned's presence very well. To be fair,
dogs and cats.
Ned doesn't like the cat either.
No, these two need counseling, couples counseling.
Yeah, they do.
It's just so funny because dogs and cats do not have to hate each other. Like my guide dog school, my guide dog school adopts abandoned kittens that they find and like obviously takes care of them very well, but uses them as like distraction tools for the guide dogs in training, just to be like, hey, there's a cat, don't react to it, and the cat's like, cool, I can walk in front of a dog and the dog's not going to react. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, that is very much in a cat's kind of trickster nature.
Yeah,
just like, I'm going to do what I want because it amuses me.
And you can't get me. Ha ha.
Na boo boo.
Yeah.
I really relate to cats, in case you can't tell.
Yeah. All right, chapter 29.
What is the art?
The art is... Sorry, I need to turn some pages here. We see a pair of people on a horse, and the horse is running.
Well,
I can't describe the people beyond saying one is in a cloak, the other is in some kind of robe with a trailing scarf, cape, I'm not sure, and they have a turban with a feather coming out of it. But I have no way of being able to say, yeah, this is so-and-so.
So our story actually begins with Lalindy and taking her snake out of the basket, and where we find Wagga is a guy. Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I assumed it was a girl snake this whole time.
Yeah, me too. Okay. But apparently they're like, the snake is restless because apparently it is restless when it rains outside.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're with the troop, and they keep going, and they're brought out on deck, and Gino's just like, if any of you need to come out one at a time in any false move, and someone's going to be feeding the fishes. Ooh. Ami Sarato's just like, okay, in a few hours you're going to be docking. You will be confined to your cart at such time as we part company. And yeah, at this point, they give in to like the frustration and everything. It's like, hey, you're totally going to sell us into slavery, right? Yeah, pretty much.
What,
Yeah.
me? Yes, of course. What did you think?
Wow, guys, you really thought I'd just give you a free boat ride just for a couple of performances? I mean, really. Of course, so the basically like, do not know, and I'm going to hold this girl, hi Serafina, as a second hostage, as another hostage for so you guys have good behavior.
Yes, and the reason why he holds her hostage is very creepy and disgusting. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He basically, I mean, we'll go right into it. He's basically going to use Serafina as the selling point to buy the whole group, because she's the pretty one.
Yep. And we do get a small scene from her perspective, and she just cries and misses everyone, which, like, I get. Like, I don't have anything against people who cry. I mean, hell, last night I watched Little Women and cried a lot. But I just want more. I want more depth from her than just crying and thinking about Ben or thinking about her friends. I want, like, I don't know. I wanted so much more from her than what we got.
Yeah, and she also, as we're also told, that she's crying for her friends, but mostly for Ben and Ned, who she's closest with. Honey, it's a
Yeah.
crush.
Yeah.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
crush, and you haven't seen him for days, probably weeks at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But and oh and yeah yeah, Ben and Ned have disobeyed orders and of course have gone out into the city because of course they did.
Yes.
Okay, whatever.
And Ben, are we at the part where Ben sees Serafina yet? Or no?
About
Does
to
that come
get there.
later?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. He completely loses his head whenever he sees her, or like it just. I mean, it makes sense as like a crush, like a young boy would do, but it's sort of hilarious and sad at the same time. He's like running through the mud and falling down and getting up. He's like, Serafina! It's like, come on.
It looks like a moment out of a movie where the hero is about to see his lost love for the first time forever, but it's obvious it's going to be just like a near miss. And so just running, you got rain just pouring down off the face, just trying as to pell-mell get as close as possible. The choir and the violins are just in full effect, and you see it all go in slow-mo. They voice, you can see like mouthing the name, but no sound comes out. It's just like, no. And
Yeah.
of course, everybody's supposed to cry, but nobody cries because it's a cliche at this point.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Because of course he's not thinking. He's chasing after the girl, even separating from his dog.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yep.
after everything you've been through in this book, come on, man. Of
There's
course, he
nothing.
gets separated, and
Mm-hmm.
he does eventually keep up to him. And Ned's just, I love Ned. The first thing he gets back from Ned, rotten old furry face. It was you who locked that window. I know it was. He's basically blaming the cat for getting locked out of the inn.
Well, it was the cat who got the attention of the innkeeper, but it technically wasn't the cat who locked the window.
Or was it?
Or was it? I don't actually remember.
Dun dun dun.
Pandora is the real bad guy.
Yep.
Almi Serata is meeting with the man he's been trying to see this whole time, Count Deskar, only to find Deskar's steward. Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, this is not without precedent, and especially plenty of times rich guys will have trusted underlings make deals for them when they're not
Mm-hmm.
able to attend to themselves. And this Proxy's just basically just like, he's, I don't know what to feel for this guy, because one, you're clearly working for a slaver and a scumbag.
Yes.
But he's also getting bullied by Almi Serata. So,
Yeah.
You know,
I
you,
don't know.
you could just say that they're both terrible people, and it's okay to feel complicated things, but ultimately acknowledge they're both terrible and move
oh
on.
yeah.
Yep. I had limited sympathy for him.
Yep. I mean, I don't have any sympathy. No. So. But yes. Also, Serafina catches a glimpse of Ben.
Yes. And she's like, everything will be all right now.
My crush is back. He'll save me. It'll be just like the stories.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Ned has not been stupid and has basically been gathering recon and intelligence. And they totally do that. Whisper, whisper, whisper. We don't get to see what he actually knows.
Yes. So I have a theory that Ned would be perfectly fine without Ben, but Ben would not be perfectly fine without Ned. Just from what we've seen so far, like I think Ned could survive better on his own than Ben.
Yeah.
He's rather self-sufficient in that way. Ben is an emotional wreck at this point.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Oh, they're bringing Serafina back to the main group. Chapter 30. Sorry. How does Chapter 30 art go?
It's the Rizzoli troops cart. Just the cart, nothing else to it.
Huh.
It looks cool.
It's
like
a cart.
4 wagon wheels. It's all enclosed. It's got like that Conestoga wagon type covering, but it's been doctored up a little bit with writing. There's some tassels hanging off the one side above where the door is, and you see the hitching point for where they hitch up Pompeia, which is currently just dragging on the ground.
Yep. So, the chapter follows the Rizzoli troop as Seraphine is returned to them, and they find out, okay, yeah, they confirmed, yes, we're being sold, and, Sina Rizzoli's still like, hey, where are you sending us, and who have you sold us to, flesh peddler? And Almi Serata, remember what I said earlier about you get no value out of a dead man. Quote, old fool, I'm running out of patience with you. I should have cast you and your wife overboard and saved myself some trouble. Instead, I insisted that you were all sold together. Even you are as useless you are. So shut your mouth and be grateful. You're about to throw us into slavery. So, yeah, screw you.
I mean, it does make sense from his twisted perspective, though.
Yeah.
Like, I was nice to you. I was nice to
Really,
you.
you're the
I
one
kept you
getting
safe.
advantage of me.
Yes.
Oh, and Seraphine's like, yeah, I totally sold Ben. He'll totally help us.
Yay! We're saved.
Huh. Sure, guys, you're saved. Bianos is back. It's like, hey, so you disobeyed what I told you to do, and you've been running around getting yourself seen, so good job, kid.
And bleeding all over the place.
Yeah, over those nice floors.
Yeah, this is the part where you would expect a slow clap to come in.
Mm-hmm. So yes, they do tell Ben to get some bandages on that knee and clean up, because you're an idiot kid for running around in the mud and getting yourself separated from your dog. Yeah.
Yes. But love. It was all in the name of love.
It's a crush, kid.
Love.
I love that this is a crush. Okay, no, I got nothing. Sorry.
Okay. So Ben is talking with Janos, and he's just like, here's what I want you to do. If you can, basically, he's going to use her troop, and he's paying for her services, obviously, to help him out and rescue the people here. And the plan is to grab the troop, use bombs to distract Almi Sriracha's crew, and run for the convent, which is totally like a fortress and totally can't be breached.
Yeah. Nobody would attack
Yeah.
nuns.
And funny you mentioned that, because even in this late in history, there was a couple of rules like even conventional authorities were supposed to follow, and one of them is you don't attack convents or monasteries.
Mm-hmm.
They're off limits. Doing so basically would risk everybody else coming down on your butt for attacking neutral parties.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not bad wisdom here. Running for the convent is smart. But remember who we're dealing with. A man
Yeah.
who already claims his only god is gold.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if they make it to the convent, if Almi Serata will leave them alone.
Of course.
Yep.
I do want to point out, though, just as a connection way, 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 way back to the beginning of the series and the podcast, talking about how when Clooney first shows up at Redwall, the
that
abbot's
way back.
basically like, "Hey, you hungry? You have injuries? We'll tend to them. Whatever you need. Like, we want you to surrender." It's like, there you go. Once again, it's like it's people who are just there for the goodwill of others, and then evil person trying to exploit that for their own gain.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, chapter 31. What's our art?
Oh, sorry.
Wake up.
It's a flashbang flying through the air.
Oh yeah.
It with a very, very lit fuse.
So, I wonder if they'll be used.
Nah.
So, we'll find out. So, our chapter begins with Otto and the Rizzoli troop basically like, hey, we should still escape here. But all their guards outside, it's after midnight. And the guards have been on duty all day. Yeah. And do you want to escape or not? So Almi, Sarata, and Gino's brilliant plan while they wait for the Count's people to come and collect the newly purchased slaves is to basically set watches and keep each other awake while one takes a nap.
Yep.
Okay. Because that never backfires, guys, right?
Never ever.
Well,
course
I
not.
mean, to be fair, it still makes them smarter than our foursome all the way back in Marl Fox, who seem to have
Yeah.
a repeated problem of not posting a watch.
However, those were legit teenagers. These are
So,
grown men. So
yep. Evil men, but yes.
Mm.
Okay. And, of course, what do you think happens? The Gino whose turn is it to sleep, falls in, excuse me, it's his turn to keep watch, falls asleep, and that's pretty much when the Astari wolves, led by Janos, with Ben and Ed, descend upon them.
this
And
was
it's
beautiful.
awesome.
It was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The short version here is they didn't just use flashbangs and smoke grenades here. They did mention, like, we're gonna pack this with some shrapnel. So, ooh, yeah,
Big things
Are you
go
still there?
boom.
yes, yes,
I
they
think
do.
I got cut out for a little bit.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
So yes,
Skype made a weird noise. That's fine.
they rush in. They throw the flashbangs off. They rescue the troop, including the mayor Pompea, and yeah, they run for the convent. Ha 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 ha!
Everybody's
Bye.
safe now.
Yes. Book over.
It should
I
have been
wish.
over at this point, but it would have been a much better ending. But we'll come to that. So Gina wakes up and looks at Al's like, "Huh? What happened? Oh, the kid. Oh, shoot."
Yeah, apparently he's not dead. Darn it.
So yeah, boss, the kid was here and he's taking our slaves from us, and you're not hearing any of this, are you?
What?
There's a pretty comedic routine here where Gino's trying to explain to his boss repeatedly, and the boss can't hear him.
Yes.
What?
So yes, and then Count Dreskar's aide rides into the camp. She's like, "Well, you haven't delivered on your slaves, but I'm keeping your money, ha ha ha, and you've stabbed me."
Yep, I have died. Oh no. Moment of silence. All right, move on.
And yeah, basically Al demanded the guys give up his horses to chase down the slaves, but no. So
I gotta say, it is kind of impressive that Al Miserata just like woke up from being unconscious and partially deaf, and he's like, "Let's go, let's make a plan."
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, he's a very resourceful pirate guy.
that ends chapter. Oh shoot! I lost my place.
Chapter
31.
Someone else.
31.
Someone else take point, please.
Chapter 32. The picture is what I'm assuming is either the Mother Superior or whoever it is that's answering the door, nun, who's holding up a whisk broom very threateningly. Very notable, she has a large bustle. A sizable bustle.
All right.
Comfortably large.
No, it did. All right.
I think that was that really old nun, the one that they first met, who was like, "You're abominations. You cannot stop here."
Vagabonds, bandits, be off, go away.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or I'll let Sansone on you, which is Italian for Samson. Okay. We have another asterisk.
Yes.
No.
And Janos is just like, hey, go tell your mother superior that there's a problem with Maria and that some friends of Costas Grimboli are here to speak with her.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Indeed.
How do you catch a cloud and pin it down?
To her credit, Mother Carmel comes out. It's like, what can we do for you? So we're being chased by slave traders, and Costas Kimberly recommended your convent. Okay, come on in. Just like that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I mean, if you've read any of Jake's works before, you should be thinking this is a little bit too easy.
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yep. Yep. So definitely something dramatic is not going to happen.
And unfortunately, at this point, Janos leaves the book. Aww.
Yeah.
Best character's gone.
I need to find a fanfic spin-off of her, though.
Yeah? There needs to be a fanfic spin-off of this.
If not, I will write it myself.
So, and there go the Astrani Wolves. Bye, guys. Oh, they're totally safe. They're behind the convent, with that has fortress-like walls. Okay, sure.
Yep. Redwall, this is not.
No.
Nope. Because Redwall isn't perched at the edge of a cliff.
Right.
So yes, the first thing is when they get inside, Ben's like, "Hey, where did my dog go?" Oh, he's just over there with our dog, and they're chewing huge beef marrow bones.
I can just picture this conversation. Hey, I know where the bones are. Cool.
Oh, and Ned's just like, "Hey, this place is awesome. Why do we have we had come here before?" So.
Also, fun fact, you should not give already cooked bones to your dog, for they will shred in the digestive system and cause havoc.
Yes. I don't think these are cooked ones, though.
Okay, good.
Because since they're saying marrow bones, I don't know for certain, but
I hope they're not cooked.
I'll Google it real quick. It's on marrow bones.
Anyway, Samson is, really big dog, but is very much an old teddy bear until one of the nuns are basically like, attack!
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I'm not much of a dog person, but he seems like a very good boy.
So marrow bones look like they can be just regular raw, or it can be cooked versions. So.
Well, I hope they are raw bones. Anyway.
All right. That being said, and we also have Ned comments to stand. So I've warned. Excuse me. He's like, I thought I was living the life of a king here. Imagine getting bones like this whenever you want them.
Yeah.
Humans, they think they know better than us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do we though? Because most of the time, every time I'm around my parents' dogs, it's mostly just like, why aren't you petting me? You stop petting me. Don't you want to be petting me?
Oh, dogs.
So, that makes sense.
They have a nice meal, everybody. Sliced ham, cheese, fresh bread, fruit, and a variety of drinks soon appeared.
Ta-da! More food porn.
Yay! I'm sure they weren't alcoholic, though.
I mean, they literally went to a place called the Tipsy Hog, where Ned quipped about if Ben owned it, calling it the Boozy Boy. Yes, it's non-alcoholic.
Well, nuns tend to frown on that kind of thing.
Our next bit is Ben and Serafina going out for a private talk, and he's gonna have to break up with her. Oh.
They're reunited for just a little bit.
Yep. And he's basically like, listen, I can't really be with you, so I'll probably have to leave soon, but I can't tell you why. And even Ned at this point is like, dude, just tell her.
Yeah.
Tell her the truth.
Truth? You can't handle the truth.
Apparently not, because at this point, Vanderdecken decides to pop in. It's like, hi, I'm just here to scare you. Okay, I'm leaving. And it freaks Ben out to the point that he is gripping Serafina's hand so tightly it's hurting her.
Yes, and have you guys ever had someone shake your hand so hard that it hurts, like it physically hurts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me. I was like, oh no, I would rather have the weak handshake. Actually, I'd rather not shake hands at all anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, fist bump from now on.
Yeah, I don't miss it.
Or
Like,
elbow bump.
like I do not miss having to guess whether someone's going to shake my hand or not. It's one of the pitfalls of being a blind person. It's like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm just going to tentatively hold out a hand and see if you want to shake hands. You don't? Okay, cool. We're just going to move on.
Hmm. But of course, Serafina, because Ben was crushing her hand, runs off in pain and she's mad that he's trying to break up with her.
Yep.
So, and that's just like, dude, just let her go. This will be better this way. So,
Yeah, but I do like that Ned stays with him while he cries. That's a good doggy.
yes, he is.
Be with your human.
Ah. And at this point, he's just like, let's stay up here a while, you and I. Don't want everybody to see this like this. Yeah, I left my marrow bone to come up here. Dang it. That Sansa will be making short work of it right now. It's oh, but yes. Oh, that's a good moment. Oh, and the closing bit of the chapter is just like, oh, I wonder if the Mother Abbess has any books on how loyal dogs are. And oh, what about the amazing adventures of Miko?
Yeah,
That
I would read that. I would read that.
little maggot hasn't lived enough to may have amazing adventures. And Ben, because he can't let the point go, Black Bundy for the bumptious bounder. Add 2 to the Bundy counter.
Ding! Ding! And Ned responds, "What did I say about you mentioning that name ever again? What, you mean Bundy? No, I mean bumptious."
Bumptious is a
That
great
kid.
word, though.
Yes, it is. Also, uses the word piffle, which means nonsense, which is another great word.
Yes, so is balderdash. Although I don't think it appears, but I just like the word balderdash. Anyway.
Chapter 33, we get to see the convent on the edge of the cliff. That's like almost a perfectly straight drop down.
Because that's not
That's
dangerous at
not
all.
ominous.
Nope.
Hmm. Oh well, I'm sure it won't come into play.
It'll be fine.
Always
It's
fine.
always fine. Everything is fine, always, forever, yes.
Yep. It's Brian Jakes. He doesn't like tragicness.
He's certainly not George R. R. Martin level of I'm going to kill a random character. So yes, chapter 33 begins with Almi Sarat's like, huh, what is that place? Well, Gino, take 2 guards, and for the love of God, make sure you're not seen. Ugh. Just tell me what it is. Well, my lord, it's a convent, and the boy and the Megan are totally in there. Huh. Oh, and we tested their defenses, and just like that Red Bull place, they really should do a better job of locking the main bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no Constance or Krega, unfortunately.
Yeah, they needed a Constance. They didn't need Janos to hang around a little bit longer.
Yeah. So, oh, and give orders that basically it's like, oh, we're gonna attack a convent and see my earlier thing about what you don't want to do that even in this time period.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not when that Almi Sarata cares about that apparently.
Nope.
Of course not.
So, so we're gonna attack the convent. I want you to bring all my people up from the siege inn and bring the siege inn over by the cliff because we'll have to run to it quickly. But only leave a token guard there. Okay.
This won't backfire.
No, of course
Of
not.
course not.
So dinner comes at the convent, and the troop is performing because that's a reasonable thing to do to say, show your thanks. And we get another song.
Yep. And I'm glad that they let Serafina sit this one out because she's obviously upset. And I think sometimes people be like, cheer up, chin up, you can do it. But they'd be like, yeah, you're fine. It's okay to not be okay right now.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate that. Just get on a soapbox here for like 30 seconds. The whole idea of, oh, just chin up, you'll be fine. No, you are not in somebody else's head. You don't get to dictate how they're feeling. Shut up.
Right, exactly. And I think my mom, I love my mom a lot. But she sometimes she has this mentality like when I'm sad about something, she like tries her best to cheer me up and she like won't stop. I'm like, "Hey mom, I just need to be sad right now. I will be okay, but just let me be sad and then I can let you know when I'm ready to not be sad."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the general idea of, you know, typically the trope is for guys, but just people in general being told, no, you can't be emotional right now.
Mhm.
Forget that.
Yeah.
I need to feel what I need to feel. I will do my best, but there's some times where I can't control it. I just need to deal with it at my own pace. Thank you very much. I'm sorry it's not on your clock. When I'm ready, I will let you know.
Right. So yeah, I'm glad that they are compassionate for her and her
Yes.
feelings.
That's good of them. I'm glad. Oh, now that I know you're crying over your feelings, but why don't you take some food up to Ben and Ned? Yeah, go see the guy you're mad at.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think part of her wants to though, which is why it didn't really bother me.
So up on the veranda. Just get used to seeing that word. It happens a lot in this next section.
A veranda.
Ben and Ned are up there, and yeah, Seraphina comes up. It's like, hey, brought you food. And this is where Ned's like, tell her the truth, you idiot. And
Yeah.
when he's just about to, oh no, the bad guys are invading. Dang it.
Al crashed the party.
Dang it, Al, stop doing that.
Yeah, I just
Literally
have a
crash because, they break through the gate.
well, yes. But like earlier in this book, Ned was saying like, "Hey, don't tell her too much," and now he totally changed his mind. Is like, "Tell her the truth." Why do you think that he did that?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get the change because they have not known each other very long. They obviously care about each other. Like I'm not going to say that they don't have any feelings at all for each other, but like I think Jake's is trying to make it seem like it's like this deep, true, abiding love for each other, and I don't buy it. Like I don't see indications of that. Is it just me, or do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I have no evidence here that there's any like a deep connection. It's basically just it's a crush. It has never been anything more than a crush here.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So why does Ned insist? He's like, you got to tell her. Like, why do you think that does he know that that might be what Ben wants to do? So he's kind of encouraging him in that respect.
I I think from Ned's perspective, it's I'm not human, but I've been around you enough and I know you well enough to know that if you don't get this off your chest, you're going to be asking what if for the next 60 years.
Yeah.
Do something to help me rescue a little bit of my future sanity.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Anyway, that doesn't happen.
No. So yes, the bad guys are invading the convent, and of course Ben run to go what's going on, and there's Gino and Almi Saranta who, you know, come in and they just open the door to the veranda. And Gino
Yep.
has a sword and kind of stabs Ben rather.
Yep. I'm immortal. I can't die. Stop that.
I can't die, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is where things go terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Ned, of course, is defending his buddy, trying to rip out people's throats, because, that's what you do. And suddenly the veranda breaks off, and remember how they're above a cliff?
Yep.
Oh, dear.
Oh dear, indeed.
So Ben does not fall, because he's also just hallucinating Vanderdecken right being there. Hi, Vanderdecken. Um, and so Gino, Almisarata, Ned, and Serafina all fall down the cliff.
Yep.
Which, I'm glad we skipped over the chapter art because the chapter art is Ben. He's got like his head and one arm just dangling off the edge of the veranda.
Oh
He's
man.
laying down and he's just like you can tell he's not in good shape.
So
So, and
yeah.
then we get the angels just like, oh, hey guys, how you doing? So, fate decreed that the dark angel would fall. Ye who are left on earth must travel on. What about my dog? Sorry, not my department. Can you just give me healing? No, no, you're good, kid. I'm out. So, yeah. Uh, yeah, if you're waiting for a Vanderdecken, like, actually showing up in this, he doesn't.
Nope.
And thankfully, so meanwhile, in the main courtyard, Otto, the two clown brothers, and their dog, the convent's dog, are basically kicking butt and driving them back. And they managed to get the door barred, but there's still a lot of the people outside. Huh. That's not good. They're
Nope.
basically like, hey, we can't hold the door for terribly long.
Yep.
And the Mother Abbess, Mother Carmela, is like, oh, we should probably tend to the Ben's wounds, so let's take him downstairs. And Ben, in his delirium, is shouting for Serafina, you know. And they realize,
Yep.
hey, what happened to Serafina and Ned? Cena is always basically, I'll go look for him. So we do find out what happened to the foursome that had fallen down the cliff, and yeah, Ned's conscious. He's clearly got one of his back legs is broken.
Poor puppy.
Oh. And he can see from his own point of view that the two bad guys have been broken and deaded by the fall. So,
Deaded.
yes, that's the official
Completely
word now.
unalived.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rest in
Ow, my
peace.
life.
Bereft of life, it rests in peace, enjoying the choir invisible. Yes.
No, I just picture strong bed. Clift.
Yes.
By the fact that I was alive a second ago.
Dangle off a hotel balcony.
God. So, Sarah, unfortunately, and this was kind of shocking for me to see, we get our George R. R. Martin moment. Serafina is face down, limp, and motionless. Ned gets his teeth into the waistband of her dress and hauls her to shore, licks her face, but yeah, she's gone.
Yeah. Not happy about this at all.
Mm-mm.
If you think about it, it's kind of a predictable Jake's move because he did this before with Martin and Rose. However, with Martin and Rose, there was a lot more focus on their relationship, not even specifically as lovers, but as friends and how close they got. And we got a lot of time in Rose's head. We got her motivations, we got her perspective, we got her thoughts and her feelings, and she was like a fleshed out character. So when Rose died, I was sad, but with Serafina, it's just like I was just I just felt angry. I felt kind of betrayed by this. I just felt like this is, and also the dynamic of a woman of color dying or a white, like to make a white man sad. It's just icky, and I don't like it. It makes me very angry. Um, and Jake's just loves this trope, unfortunately, because he writes good female characters when he wants to, but he just likes these tropes that I just think are lazy and not good, especially when it's dealing with humans.
I mean, for me, if it's any consolation for me, I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, really? This is how this ends?
Yeah.
Like, there could have been better ways to do this. Like, we've literally seen Ben and Ned over 2 books have to leave friends behind because of their mission. And you'd figured they'd be pretty practiced at this. Okay, yeah, you're crushing on this girl, but you can do what Ned tried to get you to do and tell her the truth and just let her down easy. But
Yeah.
no, we're literally gonna just literally to what's the term? Fridging?
Yep, that's exactly the term. And I just think it's also, this ending, apart from my feelings that I already expressed, it's very rushed, and I think it's a little bit lazy because, like you said, I would I would feel much more melancholy and like, what do you call it, sentimental about this if he was like, we can't be together. We literally can't be together, and here's why. And leaving that sort of bittersweet ending, but leave her to live her life. go find someone else, or go do what she's gonna do. Go become an entertainer. Go do whatever, but leave her alive.
Yeah.
I'll echo your sentiment, Pete, and say, yeah, it did feel very rushed because she dies in the last 10 pages of the book.
Yep.
It's like, it's not even like 20, 25 pages where we get some chance to like ruminate on it and get some like after effect. No, this is the second to last chapter. We're about to go into the final chapter, and it's not going to be sufficiently addressed. It's like, it hasn't earned the emotional response that it's trying to elicit.
Yes. And I mean, contrasting again with Martin and Rose, like, there's a lot of time spent on it. And like everything that, like, there's Grum's reaction, there's Brome's reaction, there's Martin, there's like Roanoke, there's like all the players just dealing with this. And it's super well done in a terribly tragic way. And this has none of that. It's just like super rushed and just not good. I don't like it.
I agree. So I mean, I wasn't so much frustrated. It's just like, really. So, but we can have a Brian Jakes book, as we said before, without some of the same tropes surfacing. Because while Ben is howling like a stricken wolf, literally as it's written, hey, costume from Bodhi with the blue turtle. You want to sail in and be cavalry?
Yep.
And literally the same ending to, was it Marlfox and Tagarung?
Yeah, and maybe some other ones.
Where armies come over the hill to save the heroes in the last second. Yeah.
Oh, Long Patrol. Long Patrol as well.
Yep. Yeah, this happens. Costas is repaying his debt because he gets, not only does he have fun getting to sink the siege in, he and his warriors get to come in and basically, and we're told, give no quarter to the Siege-In's forces. So yeah, that's the end of that.
For a second, I thought you said horses. I was like, wait, they don't hurt the horses. Sorry, I'm with you now.
Yep. So yeah, and okay. So that's literally how it ends. And chapter 35 is a week later, with Ben slowly coming around because he's still not, still kind of, because it wouldn't be a Brian Jakes book without the main hero spending days comatose.
Yes.
Oh, the chapter art is what I assume to be the blue turtle sailing across the water.
So yes, it's at this point it's the cliche of Ben wakes up and it's like, hey, where am I? What happened? And Ned's just like, hey, good, you're awake. So we're all right. You're fine. Everything's goes like, and Amiko is also being very cute and jumping on Ben's face to lick him.
Yep.
Hey, look, you're finally awake. I knew you'd get that reference.
Yeah. But yes, and Ned is being treated to his legs in a splint. So the siege-in's been sunk, and it's a win. All the slavers are dead, and everything here is okay except your girlfriend's dead. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, and we also get a very straight out of Avatar: The Last Airbender. When Ben, because he goes to sleep tonight and still morning. Oh, hi, Seraphina, you're an angel now. And you'll wait till I get there.
What does that mean? Because they're immortal. They are not going to die.
And I can imagine Ben in this next adventure. Yeah, my girlfriend turned into the moon.
Ah, gee, that's rough, buddy.
I knew you'd get that.
Yes.
But yeah, that's how the book ends with. Yeah, he has the thing with Seraphine. It's like, oh, I'll see you when I'm, We'll meet eventually. Except, Katie, as Katie pointed out, they're immortal.
Yes. And then for some reason, just because I was feeling so angry at the way Seraphina died anyway, that part made me even madder the first time I read it. It was like, what does that even mean? Are you going to wait till the world ends, like the zombie apocalypse? Oh, good, we can be together now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm slightly calmer this time around, but still, do not like it. Not my favorite Jake's book, although one of my favorite characters is in this book, which is a weird contradiction. However, that is how I'm feeling right now.
That's the end of book 3, and the end of Voyage of Slaves.
And the end of the Castaways trilogy.
This is the weakest of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but this rushed ending, and killing off a fridging a female character for no good reason. Yeah, kind of sours it at the end. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I don't recommend it, but definitely with a big caveat to anyone I would sell this to is like, hey, know what you're getting into, because this kind of does have the slavery material.
Yeah. But it also has a really cool gang, so.
Yeah, I want books about them.
If any of our listeners are like aspiring writers, fanfic or otherwise, can you please write these characters into something?
Yes. Also, if you
awesome.
know of any fanfic that does exist, like in the forums or whatever, send it to us because I want to read it.
Especially when we get to Fanfiction 5 next year.
Oh yeah. Can we do Castaway stuff for fanfiction?
I'm totally fine with doing Castaway stuff.
Sweet.
Any thoughts, Matthias, on this?
I mean, I've said most everything, and I agree with everything that you two have said so far, which is surprising because I usually have some kind of contradictory viewpoint that's like, well, no, I agree with everything that you've said, both of you. And only thing I will add is that the other two books, they were satisfying in their own way because the payoff at the end felt deserved. There was no payoff, and the ending was not deserved. Not in the slightest. It's like it was trying to be everybody's perception of what Romeo and Juliet is, but it actually isn't. It's like, oh, it's a love story. It's so romantic. No, it's not. It really isn't.
Okay, I just checked fanfiction.net, by the way, and there are 31 fanfictions listed there.
All right.
And literally the one that I'm probably going to have to do for Fanfiction 5 when it comes around is that, quote, caught up in a new adventure, Ben and Ned find themselves stowaways aboard the new ship Titanic.
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh no.
You have to. It's going to be a train wreck.
No, it is not a crossover with the James Cameron movie, as best I can tell from the outside.
And they meet Jack and Rose.
Oh.
Wait.
Man.
I said it was a train wreck. Sorry. No, it's going to be a shipwreck.
I'm about to
Shipwreck,
say, yeah. I'm going to rethink that one.
I had to let it sink in.
So, I mean, if I can just reflect on the whole trilogy for a second,
Mhm.
I think that there, like, okay, I'm never going to be able to hate a book that involves a dog. Like, that's just not in not in my makeup. So there were definitely parts of all three of these books that I liked. I was definitely satisfied with books 1 and 2. I'm not going to go into the stuff that I already said about book 3, but like looking back, I believe that book 1 is my favorite, and it might just be because Chapel Vale, like the whole community there, reminds me the most of Redwall, and that's my favorite Jake's type style of writing. So that could be why. Also, there's a sweet shepherd man, and there's all these cool characters in that. I liked Theron in book 2 a lot, but I think that number 1 is still my favorite, followed by 2 and then 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think number 1 feels the strongest in many ways because the bit with Chapel Vale is like 2/3 or 3/4 of the book. the beginning, the first two books are very short.
Yeah.
So it feels like it has more weight, more impact to it when you finally get that payoff at the end. And with book 2, yeah, it splits between two basic storylines. At the end, it's not that it's like some super giant payoff, but the payoff that is there is very emotionally satisfying and cathartic. And it's like, even though Ben and Ned have to move on, they still had a lasting impression on these people that they came to know, love, and care for.
We're also told at the end of the book here that, oh yeah, Ned attended Seraphina's funeral and she's buried on the convent grounds.
Yep, another thing I didn't like. It's like, well, if you're not going to love me, I'm going to stay at the convent.
Yeah, not literally what happens, but kind of emotionally what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and she said that too. She's like, if you leave me, I will stay here forever, which like I took to mean I will stay here and become a nun.
It's like, okay, what nonsense is this?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Sorry, these puns, they're habit forming.
Yes, and I think you've used that one before, so fun buzzer.
I
Yes,
mean,
I'm pretty sure he has.
Haven't used that in a
yeah.
while. That felt great.
But yeah, we don't like the ending, but there's still some elements in this book that are very good. It's just a shame that they had to be hobbled by not great elements.
Exactly.
So I'd say it's still worth reading if you haven't read it. I mean, if you haven't read it, why are you listening to this? Spoilers.
Yeah.
But it's not one of these things where it's like, it's not worth reading at least once.
I definitely think it's worth reading. Like, I would have said before I reread the third book that the third book wasn't worth reading, but I'm so glad that I reread it because Janosch.
Yeah.
So, by the way, while you guys were checking, I checked our reviews, and we don't have any new ones, unfortunately.
But we're still perfect.
Yes.
Apparently. Until your 1-star challenge from earlier in the episode.
I didn't mean that.
If it happens, it's your fault. You will bear the
definitely
burden
is.
for the rest of time.
I will. It's fine.
No, it's more likely what I said in the first episode for this book. What it'll do us. So, that being said, you can find us at recorderonthewall.com. I'm semi-active on the Redwall forums and Redwall subreddit. Are you there? Our Twitter is ROTWPOD, and our primary contact email is at rotwpod@gmail.com. I get everything.
Did you get the podcast platforms? I think you did.
Oh,
Spotify.
yes, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Spotify, and whatever scalping site loves to pick us up because they read our RSS feed or, Apple Podcasts, because that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, that by the time listeners you listen to this, it will be December, and you know what that means.
Food.
All the food.
None of the food. I'm going to be contrary this time around. No food whatsoever.
He's just gonna heckle.
Apparently. So that being said, after the new year, we will cover in earnest Barton the Warrior, the PBS cartoon season 3, and
Yay, back to Redwall.
Hopefully, we'll get some news eventually here when the Netflix Redwall series comes out.
Indeed.
Yes, I am waiting with bated breath. Is it out yet? Any more news?
How about
I'm Googling it.
No, darn it!
Now.
Oh, that's the PBS series. Like, first episode date? Wait, what?
We missed it. How could we miss it?
No!
Okay, any news now? No, darn it, still nothing.
I just have to sit here and wait it out.
I mean, the thing is with Netflix, usually the trailers come out very shortly before actual series
Mhm.
debut. So we genuinely don't know. Because the last news articles I can find about it, most recent one, it's like from March of this year.
You guys, we got 2 more books left. That is pretty wild.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
And
almost
it's not
done.
like we'll stretch that out because we're gonna stretch
Well, one
that
of them
out.
does have 4 books, so 4 parts.
I don't know. I imagine because I mean the Red Martin the Warrior cartoon is going to be 4 episodes in its own right, and by the so we'll see how far we can get.
yeah.
Till then, I'm Pete,
I'm Matthias.
And I'm Katie.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.